All right. We're live streaming. This is our royalty-free electronic music that we have to play when we stream on the internet. I'm here in studio right now along with this guy. Hang on, we didn't fix any of the cameras. Ethan, can you fix these cameras? We're live in studio with the Lectern guy is here. That would be, I need you to fix that, Ethan. Can you help me out with that, buddy? And the Lectern guy is here from social. You were a January 6th prisoner.
That is correct.
And for the crime of moving a podium. They call it a lectern, but I call it a podium.
Yeah, the difference is a podium is something you stand on, and a lectern is something you speak behind.
I don't like it. I think it's a podium. I'm going with podium on this one. And I'm Kenny Webster. And for those of you that wonder, before we talk to Adam Johnson, the lectern guy, before we get to him, really big news yesterday. We may have the opportunity here to remove from office the most powerful, this is going to sound crazy when you say it out loud, but it's true, the most powerful elected Democrat in the state of Texas. Her name is Lena Hidalgo, and she is not, what's the word I would use to describe her, bright, or what's another word I would use? Mentally stable would be another. In fact, I think that's the whole point of this thing. State Senator Mays Middleton, not long ago, was able to modify, adjust, if you will, a previously existing policy that would do exactly that. It helps us to remove inept public officials from office, but it's a little more complicated than that. So I invited him on the show. As you guys know, I'm a fan of Mays Middleton. I think he's done a great job in his efforts to take down taxpayer-funded lobbying. I don't know why taxpayer-funded lobbying even exists. He's explained it many times, and it still blows my mind that there are people that are against this, Mays, but I guess a free meal ticket's a free meal ticket. Right now, live on the show, State Senator Mays Middleton, running for AG, right? How you doing, my brother?
Hey, Kenny, I appreciate you having me on today.
Explain this to me. So we in the last segment, Holly Hansen was just here. We played audio of Lena Hidalgo using children as political props to try to raise taxes in the county. And it didn't seem like it was working. It didn't even seem like the kids cared that they were there. I maybe it would have worked better if they had sad faces, Mays, but it looked like they were joyfully playing in the background. Did you catch any of that?
No, it was outrageous what she did, trying to bring them up and use them as an excuse to raise taxes on all of us in Harris County. And even her own fellow Democrats on Commissioner's Court weren't buying what she was selling.
No, even the other Democrats in the room voted to censure her. Now, you study law, and you're pretty well-informed about how our government works. I know the answer to this, but I'd love to hear your take on it. When we censure a county judge, what does that mean for her, Mays?
I mean, she's unfit for office. Frankly, from what we've seen from Lena Hidalgo, it's unethical, and her behavior is lunatic, literally. This person is not fit to hold public office in Texas. And, of course, Harris County is the third largest county in America. And we have provisions under our local government code right now to remove her from office.
But I know this is kind of a buzzkill. When someone gets censured, does anything actually happen, or is it just like a finger-wagging process?
Well, now comes the accountability. And that's why Chapter 87 and the bill I passed this past session is so important, because it provides the process, the official process, to actually remove her from office. And then that would provide that accountability that we have to have for incompetent, careless, and unfit local elected officials, which she is all of those things.
Okay, that I love the sound of. The fact that, I mean, you're stating facts here, indisputable facts that even people in her own party seem to agree with. I know there's been a lot of speculation that she was on drugs, that she had to take time off more than once to go to a mental health facility. And I find that a little alarming, knowing that she's the highest level of authority in what is the biggest municipal government in the state of Texas, as scary as that may be, Senator Middleton. But I'm curious, what does the process entail? It's my understanding it would get her in front of it would actually be Republicans that would be making this decision. They take her to a Republican county?
That's right. So before, the problem is that someone files a petition for removal for incompetence, and here are the terms here: gross ignorance, gross carelessness,
Two.
inability to discharge duties, serious physical or mental defect. I mean, do those things sound familiar to you with her? They do to me.
It
And
sounds
so you would
exactly
file
like what she's dealing with. Yeah, that's correct.
The
Yeah.
code was written just for her. Yep, it was written just for her. And so before the issue is that it would go to a district judge in the county in which she resides and represents in Harris County. So of course that, she's a George Soros elected county judge, a George Soros elected district judge and district attorney like Sean Tier. They're not likely to hold her accountable, right? I mean, it's like a George Soros DA prosecuting voter fraud. That's not going to happen. So we know that is a problem, and I changed the law this session, and what it does is that petition for removal from office, it no longer goes to the Democrat district court and Democrat DA in Harris County. It goes to the Abbott-appointed presiding judge of the administrative judicial region, who is a Republican, and then they assign it to a neighboring county like Brazoria or Galveston County, which are Republican counties. So we're going to have a fair shot at this. If someone files this petition for removal, which they should do because she is definitely eligible for removal, we get a fair removal trial, and the state is represented in that by a prosecutor locally, so that'd be a Republican district attorney or county attorney.
Mays, it's music to my ears, the fact that you were able to come up with this solution so easily after this giant, a dumpster fire of a humiliating experience for people all over Southeast Texas yesterday. This is now a national news story. This woman having a meltdown in the middle of Commissioner's Court yesterday. It showed up in the Post. Fox News is talking about it. I mean, this is humiliating. Senator Middleton is, if I'm not mistaken, Clute, Texas. Does that fall within District 11?
Clute is over in Brazoria County and actually a neighboring district.
Okay, so it's nearby you. Because I have, oddly enough, in studio right now, I know this is going to sound a little odd, I have Adam Johnson here, and he is in town for Ron Paul's birthday party. Adam, you're famously known as the guy that moved the podium. It's called a lectern during the January 6th protests. Some were rioting. I think you didn't do any. You weren't rioting, if I'm not mistaken. What you did was pretty innocent. But you're here in town right now just learning about this for the first time. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, it seems pretty simple to me that there should be an aptitude test that our politicians have to take before assuming office.
Yeah.
If they're this incompetent that we're having to change law and go against lawfare, I mean, maybe there should be a stopgap up front before they get into office.
State Senator Mays Middleton, an aptitude test for a county judge would, it's a pretty radical idea, but could something like that actually be imposed, or is this sort of a post-aptitude test that she would have to adhere to according to the process you just described to us?
Well, I guarantee you if there was any aptitude test, she would fail it. But I'll point this out. I'm running for Attorney General, and this is exactly why I want to start an anti-corruption division in the AG's office that investigates politicians that are profiting off their position, that are ripping off taxpayers, and are committing waste, fraud, and abuse. And on day one, I promise to do that. In this case, with Judge Lena Hidalgo, we have reason to believe that there's wrongdoing. We have reason to believe that there's incompetence. And unfortunately, the taxpayers and the voters of Harris County have suffered. We need to investigate George Soros as well, by the way, for his role in all the riots and also the donations that we've seen to the runaway Democrats. But this is a top priority of mine. I have zero tolerance for incompetent local elected officials that are profiting off their position, and she needs to be removed from office. And I'm hoping someone files that petition for removal here soon. She meets all the elements of it, and I think that would be successful, frankly, from what I've seen.
All right, let's talk about this real quick before we say goodbye. I got to get your take on this. Ken Paxton, our current Attorney General, is making some pretty bold claims right now about how an Illinois court could enforce the Texas arrest warrants against all the Democrats that are hanging out right now in Aurora, Illinois with Wayne and Garth. Now, I loved Wayne's World. I don't know why they went to Aurora. I thought that was a weird choice. I've heard Stan Mikita's Donuts is delicious. But while they're all hanging out there, they're clearly in violation of the law. Now, you are running for Attorney General right now. For those that don't know, Mays was one of the no votes on removing Ken Paxton from office a couple of summers ago. Mays, what is your thoughts on all this? Can we actually do this? Will FBI agents be sent in? What does that process entail? If we actually forced them to come back to work or arrested them, what would happen today or tomorrow if that process actually took place?
Yeah, this is really simple. Every other Texan had to show up to work today. And why should politicians get an exemption from that? And it's very simple. You don't show up you get fired. And the Attorney General filed a lawsuit in Adams County, Illinois. And I'll point this out. That was a very important place to do it. Adams County is not Cook County. Cook County is where the pathetic failed governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, lives. One of the worst-run states in America, highest amount of local government debt, worst crime. But Adams County actually voted 72% Republican in 2024. And so I think we've got a very good chance in that litigation to enforce these warrants and also hold these runaway Democrats in contempt and get them back to Texas. And we're only 5 votes short. And once we get those 5 back, we can pass the big, beautiful map, which will draw 5 more Republican seats in Congress. And literally, that could save this entire nation. We don't know what the margin is going to be in the 2026 election in Congress after that. So those 5 seats could be the margin for President Trump to be able to pass his America First agenda.
State Senator Mays Middleton, if people want to support your candidacy to replace Ken Paxton after he is clearly going to be replacing Jen Cornyn over the next year here, what can they do to help support you?
Go to maysmiddleton.com, MAYESMIDDLETON.com.
My brother. Hey, Mays, can you keep us up to date on this? If news breaks over the weekend or next week, we'd love to get you back here to give us an update on this.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Kenny. Thanks for having me on today.
State Senator Mays Middleton. Follow him on X. Quick break. We'll be right back with the Lectern guy right after this.
Be wary of strong alcoholic drinks. They could make you shoot at tax collectors. And miss. This is Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness on KPRC 950 Houston.
Hey, if you're watching us on social media, there is no break because this is a live recording session for a radio show that's going to air later this afternoon. The reason it airs later this afternoon and the reason you're watching it right now on social media, tonight I'm doing stand-up comedy at Brewski's in Hattiesburg, Mississippi with Jesse Payton. Normally when we do these shows, Chad Prather's there. Chad apparently too busy to go with us this weekend. That's okay. He's going to be with us in spirit. And then tomorrow night we're going to be in Denham Springs. That's, as a lot of you guys know, that is the affluent bougie suburb of Baton Rouge, where a lot of people, I mean, you got to love Denham Springs. If you've never been to Denham Springs before, a lot of tuxedo t-shirts there. Adam Johnson, the Lectern guy, famously moved Nancy Pelosi's Lectern. Do you regret it? Do you feel bad about that? No, hang on. I got to turn your microphone on. And also in the studio right now, my buddy Ethan. Ethan, can we get you on mic too? We got to fix that camera right there. We're going to record another segment in just a minute, but this is like the in-between. This is the off-air time right here, like during commercial break. You can swear right now if you want.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
If it comes to mind, if we talk about something that amps me up a little bit, it'll definitely slip out.
New York City might become a socialist mecca soon.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, I thought you'd be like, fuck that. Or...
No, I'm actually fine with that. No, I think it actually is going to take a little bit of hard love and letting things go for people to turn around.
Hard Love, if I'm not mistaken, was the name of Hunter Biden's biography before they made him change it. They wanted to call it something else. I was looking at, speaking of socialists here, hold on, I want to get your reaction to a couple things that I enjoyed. Have you seen, oh, I lost the video. I don't have it here. Have you seen the guy that wants to be mayor of Minneapolis? He looks like the guy from that movie, I'm the Captain Now, with Tom Hanks. Ethan, help me. Read my mind, Ethan. What am I thinking right now?
His name is Omar Fatah, or however Somalians pronounce their names. And yeah, he looks almost identical if you age down the guy from Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
Like 20 years. That's Omar Fatah. He's actually a state senator in whatever state Minneapolis is in. I try to ignore everything that's kind of north of the Mason-Dixon line. But that's my cutoff. Everything after that, that's the Socialist Republic of New England.
Oh, my gosh.
I know people in the South and people in the Midwest always feel like the rest of the country's not like them. But I'm from the Midwest and I live in the South. The South and the Midwest are very similar in terms of values. Food-wise, not at all. If you put a little bit of pepper on a piece of meatloaf, I think people in Ohio's heads would explode. You know, whereas here in Texas, if it's not covered in hot sauce, we don't want to eat it. Where are you from, Adam?
So I'm a Navy brat, born in Tennessee, spent some time in Virginia, bound to Pensacola, but mostly Florida for most of my life just now.
So you are technically a Southerner, right? I mean, not technically, you literally are. And were you in Pensacola years ago when that, what was it, an Islamic terror attack at the air base out there?
I was not. My dad actually lives up there, so lived up there. He's passed away now. But we go up there every once in a while, see some family. Got a beautiful air base.
For a January 6th prisoner, you don't seem like what I was expecting. I thought you'd come in here dressed like a Viking. You'd have face tattoos. You'd be holding a flare and a bottle of rum, but that's not at all what you're like. You seem very normal, actually.
To be fair, I did move a bunch of chairs in the lobby before I came up here.
This is the this
Charges.
Had to get it out.
I wanted to show you this video. Hang on, let me fix the screen here for just a minute. There we go. Watch this for just a second. If everybody could turn their eyes on this screen, and then we'll react to it. This could be the next mayor of Minneapolis.
مقعد عمر فاتح ستيت سيناتور ديستريكت 62 هدنا وحنا هاي مشرح دوخ مقعد مينيابوليس. First لبوي كهور we won the DFL endorsement process. Alhamdulillah من كوبو لسنة حزبك DFL in getting the endorsement, and now the next process وحوية September 15th إلى November 4 will be early voting. So
Now, Adam, there are some racist, bigoted, maybe you call them Islamophobic people who don't like the idea of someone that just slips into a foreign language like that and then back to American English being in charge of one of the biggest cities in the country. But I think it's great. Don't you think it's great?
I honestly thought that was Ilhan Omar's brother husband.
I believe the word you're looking for is brusband.
Yes. Yes. Well, I know in D.C., the majority of judges that are appointed there are not American born.
Adam, this is a tricky question. I know this is what I'm about to ask you is very uncomfortable, and I'll understand if you don't want to answer this question out loud. Would you have sex with one of your family members if it meant they would leave a third world country? If that was like what had to happen?
No, it'd be a hard pass. Or a soft pass.
Sorry, honey, you're staying in Haiti, Adam. Sorry. Ethan, you're married to,
Yeah. All right. First of all, I just want to say this. She was a citizen before I married her.
Okay,
All
good.
right? Let the record show. As far as I'm aware, her paperwork came through years beforehand.
Adam, Ethan Buchanan, one of our producers and weekend talk show hosts here, would never marry a foreigner.
I would never.
To get her a green card or a visa, you wouldn't do that.
I married one that already had, but yeah, I mean, she was already she's a victim of the one child policy in China. So if you want to know how socialism works, socialism is so bad that it produces wives in other countries for white guys like me.
I love what you just said, but you did the joke wrong. You're supposed to go, socialism is so bad, and then you say,
oh, God. Everyone flees every single country that ever's had it happen, and they come here and try to ruin it as well.
Have you guys never been to a Friar's roast before? You're supposed to go, how bad is it?
Oh.
And then he says,
No.
hey, we got to go back on. Are you guys ready? We're going back on the air right now. This is the in between the segment part. That's why it seems so unprofessional and bad. The real show is going to be better than this, guys.
Trust us.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Hold on a minute. I got to get bumper music. Hey, Adam, real quick, while I'm doing that, is there anything you want to plug or promote while we've got hundreds of people watching you on social media? Thousands, really.
I started up a website. 51% of the products sold on it go to charity. It is unlicensed.furnituremovers.com. So if you purchase things there, we give 51% away of the profits to families who have been wrongfully prosecuted by the DOJ.
Weird. That's oddly familiar to your story.
Yeah, it's hit close to
Is there
home.
any relation there? Is there any connection? What drew you to that particular line of charity?
Hey, when we go back on the air, I want you to tell that story. So hang on. We're going back live here in just a minute as soon as I get this bumper music going. Play the music, please. People often ask, they say, when you're live streaming on the internet, you always play such obnoxious electronic music. It's the only thing I have the royalties to. If I live stream on Bookface and I play like Ted Nugent or Nirvana or something, then they'll take the video down. Adam Johnson, a.k.a. the Lectern guy. Aren't I a victim of unfair government rules just like you and all the January 6 prisoners are? It's the same thing, really.
It is the same thing. I mean, I listen to it on someone's speakerphone in Walmart, but I can't play it on the internet.
Live in studio right now, it's the Lectern guy, and you've amassed a humongous following on social media. You have a lot of supporters. I think when people look at the January 6th thing from a distance, they see the worst or the silliest or most ridiculous of it. You know, obviously the Buffalo Viking guy, the QAnon shaman, you probably know him.
Jacob Chansley.
He seems like a nice enough guy. They walked him onto the floor of the Senate. I mean, if you drove through a red light, you'd get a ticket. But if the police wave you through, did you run the red light? I would say you probably didn't. And I think that vividly describes what happened to him. But because there's footage of people breaking windows, or of course we all know about the person that got shot, that's very sad. They equate what happened to those people with what happened to you. And it was a very different experience, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Well, that's because we saw the 10,000 foot, footage for this. We saw the same videos over and over again. It was, a couple cops getting assaulted. It was windows being broken, but they withheld most of the footage, and they still withhold most of it now. A lot of it is still censored. A lot of it you can't get to. There are a handful of people who are still going through it. But if you look at it now as compared to almost 5 years ago now, you can see a lot of people really did just walk through open doors or were let in some cases actually pulled in by other agitators.
I would describe that as almost being like entrapment, right? If someone wasn't going to buy crack and then there was an audio recording of a cop undercover talking them into buying crack, I mean, I'm one of those radical libertarians, so don't listen to me, but that sounds unfair, and I would equate that to, I think there's a correlation. I think that lives adjacent to what happened to you.
Yep, they call those conspiracy charges, and federal prisons are full of people that happen to.
Speaking of the being a libertarian, you're one, if I'm not mistaken. You're you're a Liberty Republican. You're in town for Ron Paul's birthday.
That is correct.
And I, like you, it's not like I'm anti-MAGA. My policies are similar, a little different, but I just always figured, anti-war, low taxes, pro-gun, supporting the MAGA movement. If not Ron Paul, then Donald Trump. That was my position.
That's always my position as well. I think the MAGA movement is actually a new wave conservative movement, and it has picked up a lot of first-time voters, a lot of libertarians who are excited about the policies that were being talked about. Whether they come to fruition or not remains to be seen.
Yeah.
The hiring practices of 2020, they were a lot worse than the ones that happened this time around. I like Tulsi. I like what RFK Jr. is doing as well. So we have a couple of great people in positions trying to do some good things.
It really is the greatest I mean, in terms of the lineup, like I'm not saying everyone's perfect, but RFK Jr., Tulsi, fantastic. I miss Elon. Did you see this week they buried the hatchet? Trump came out and said he thinks Elon's a good guy. He had a bad day. Elon said he regrets what he said. I mean, I want my dad and my uncle to get along with each other. I don't want them to fight on Thanksgiving,
No, he's been busy making softcore porn on on Croc.
Is that true? Oh, I get what you're talking. He didn't actually do porn. You're talking. Some people are bothered by the fact that Elon's using AI. Are you one of those people that thinks we should outlaw porn? Is that a thing you get behind?
I don't think it's okay. Any studies you look on, it's not good for the human brain. We show great deterioration. It ruins marriages. I think it ruins young males. I think it actually created the entire OnlyFans culture that we have with females.
I mean,
one out of 5.
It clearly did, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So do I think there should be an outright ban for it? No. I think adults can do what adults want to do, but it is one of those, how is it legal that, I get in trouble here, how is it legal that you can make porn, make money doing that, but prostitution is illegal? I can't reconcile those two things.
Adam, there's a camera in the corner. What are you not understanding about? The camera's right there. That makes it okay, Adam. What do you mean?
Well, I'm saying if we say that prostitution is illegal and is wrong, then yes, I would lean towards we should probably apply that to porn as well.
I'm not like the guy that's going to defend porn because this is the 100,000th most important thing to me. The question I always ask my very paleo-conservative friends when they talk about outlawing porn, which to me, it's like, all right, outlaw porn. I don't care. But I go to the art gallery a lot. I'm a connoisseur of fine culture. What's the difference between a nude painting in the art gallery and porn? I think it's a fine line, right?
You get arrested for doing things in a gallery that you wouldn't at home.
That's a great point. No, he's right. No, Adam, no, that checks out, dude. He's right. Adam, touche. Checkmate, my man. My man, I thought we were playing checkers. I didn't know it's a 4-dimensional chess. That is 100% true. So, Adam, your whole thing now that you become, you were an unexpected celebrity. You were in Washington D.C. on January 6th. Just to make the point here that if we're Americans with free speech, we should certainly be allowed to at least question election results. I mean, whether it's legitimate or not, we should be allowed to ask that question. And obviously what came next was just insanity, pure insanity. Nancy Pelosi trying to prevent the National Guard from getting involved, FBI agents on the ground. How many? A lot. The person in charge of the FBI at the time was the same person who I would say staged a fake kidnapping of the Michigan governor. They promoted that person. I mean, a lot of suspicious stuff, kind of like Epstein's death. that you have to ignore to think that what happened on January 6th was a bunch of MAGA guys taking over the country. Weirdly, few to none of them, I think, were even armed. The pipe bomb thing, they could never explain that. Where's the evidence? Where are the pipe bombs? We had pipe bombs, and now there's no investigation. Nobody cares about that. That feels like the biggest deal to me. And after all that happened, you become an unexpected celebrity, public figure, whatever you would describe yourself as, and you're using that now to raise money for charity. You're not using it to launch an OnlyFans. You're not using it to sell koozies or, I think that's admirable. I think you have actually played this for people that watch from a distance who vaguely know who you are, I think that's a pretty classy thing of you to do. I
appreciate it. A lot of it started up, my plea deal stipulated that I was not allowed to make money, have a Get Send Go, have a GoFundMe or anything to help me raise funds for the $100,000 worth of attorneys that we had to hire out of pocket. So they wanted a lifetime ban for it. I got it down to 5 years. And during those 5 years, it was difficult, but God was good. My wife bonused like she's never bonused before. So God was good. I'll put it there. In the middle of this, there were a lot of J6ers who were still struggling. Their kids, their fathers are in prison, their mothers are in prison, their kids are struggling. I have 5 kids myself, so that really pulled at my heartstrings. Yeah. So what I did, I'm a carpenter. I started building little lecterns. And I told the DOJ, listen, it stipulates that I can't make money, but what if I give it all away? So I started building little lecterns, and we started auctioning them off, and they were selling for over $1,000 a piece. And we just gave all of the money away to families who needed it. So out of that spurred the idea that I want to continue doing this because, I don't know, it feels good. It feels good.
You're throwing a lot of information at me here.
Sorry.
You're a long-haired humanitarian who's a carpenter? It does sound a little familiar to me, Adam. Where have I heard that story before?
Oh, God. I did go into a temple and move some furniture.
And 5 kids, Catholic or Mormon? I'm going to guess Catholic.
Christian.
Oh, what? Not Methodist.
No, Southern Baptist.
Oh, thank God. I hate the Methodist. I cannot stand them. Methodists are not allowed in the studio, Adam. They have a bagel bar at the local Methodist church.
Do they really?
Unbelievable bagel bars. They didn't even have everything. I enjoy what you're doing. I think it's great work. I assume people are going to want to support what you do. Some of our listeners are going to be at Ron Paul's birthday this weekend. I've been to this thing many times. It's Young Americans for Liberty are the ones organizing it, if I'm not mistaken?
That's correct.
And you are a member, supporter, guest. What's your involvement? What's your connection to them?
I am a guest. A lot of my friends are going out. Spike Cohen got me linked up with some people there. He said I should come on out, so I'm coming on out.
Spike Cohen is the coolest guy. There's probably the second coolest guy named Spike who's ever existed.
Spike Lee?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Probably somebody else. No, this guy Spike that I buy weed from. Ethan, Ethan Buchanan's here, one of our weekend talk show hosts. Ethan, did you want to ask the Lectern guy anything? I mean, great opportunity here for you to talk to somebody that kind of changed the world. I mean, no offense, but you haven't done that yet.
I've always been curious about one thing. How heavy was it? Like, are we talking like solid wood, oak, or was this kind of like so many other things in our government? Was this just kind of made to look nice, but was actually kind of hollowed out on the inside and cheap and crappy?
I would say it was between 50, 60 pounds.
50, 60. So, I mean, that took some... And it's not small
Wait,
either.
do that again, Ethan, on camera. What did you...
It took
What did you just do, Ethan?
I believe this is like the ASL sign for gumption. You had to lift it. You had to hoist that sucker.
That's how he would handle the wood, is what he means by that.
All right, now hold on a minute, Kenny.
I'm a modest guy. We don't really do, you don't know, but actually I lift quite a bit. I'm in jiu-jitsu, been training for 7 years, so it's, it wasn't terrible.
You're a redheaded ninja. That's unbelievable. There's like 5 of you guys on Earth. That's amazing.
Well, that's true.
If people come up to you at Ron Paul's birthday this weekend, they want a photograph or they want an autograph or they want a souvenir or something like that. Do you have a piece of the Lectern you can give them? Or?
A little fragment?
I didn't bring it with me. I didn't.
What is so interesting about you is that you are one more example of how whenever there's a big national news story, the media usually gets everything wrong. And then when you actually meet the person in the news story and you're like, so what was that like? They're like, well, every detail. Because most people that don't know your story think you stole that podium, took it home to your house, like did crack on it or something. It's not at all what happened.
I dressed it up and made it my new bride. Walked on the beach, put some wheels on it.
Adam Johnson, there are a lot of interesting people that have come in this studio. I've interviewed a lot of famous people. There are a lot of, big media personalities, influencers, politicians, musicians, comedians, journalists have been on the show. I am never going to forget the day I met the Lectern guy. Adam Johnson, and I will tell you, you are a very reasonable, normal person.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. I try to be.
Is that going to work? Have you ever just thought of freaking out once in a while to get back in the news again?
Well, I got a couple things going on behind the scenes. At some point, I may run for something. We'll announce that when it comes.
Like in a marathon, or do you mean for office?
We need a county judge.
For office, maybe something local, start local.
Are you not aware of how awful elected officials are? Actually, I love that idea. You and local, everybody always wants to be congressman or whatever. I was like, yeah, dude, local politics have way more of an effect on your life than what's going on in D.C. Weird to think, but true.
Well, okay, so this is where it gets wrong. You're not going to fix things in 4 years. You're not going to fix things in 8 years. It's a generational problem that we have because the communists have been walking on us for the past 80 years. So if you think you're going to turn things around in a couple of years, that's not true. You need to start local, in your backyard, in your families, at your workplace. That's where you need to start.
Adam, you have just earned my endorsement for whatever you run for. Dog walker of York County, South Carolina, whatever it is, you've got the endorsement. Hey, guys, I got to run. If you run into my buddy Adam this weekend at Ron Paul's birthday party, come say hi to him, shake his hand, take a selfie. He's a pretty cool guy, I think. Ethan Buchanan's show airs Sunday night on KPRC right after Ted Cruz's show right here on our flagship station. I will be at Brewski's tonight in Hattiesburg with Jesse Payton doing stand-up comedy. You can see us tomorrow night in Denham Springs, the bougiest honky-tonk in the suburbs of Baton Rouge, Southern Rhythm. I love you all. Have a great afternoon. We'll be back bright and early Monday morning for more of What You Bought a Radio For.
You are listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Tell the government to kiss your ass when you listen to this show. Ooh, ah, ooh.